Hey everybody, it's Alika Lifty, and today let's brew our Ecuador Hacienda La Papaya Typica wash process coffee as a filter offering. This is I believe actually, only our second year of offering coffees from Hacienda La Papaya, of the Typica varietal from famous producer Juan Pena. This is pardon the pun, a typical expression of a wash offering, particularly of the wash Typica varietal, and showcases the excellent terroir of Juan Pena's farm, Hacienda La Papaya. This is a nice wash coffee. It's got these more delicate fruit notes combined with these traditional notes you're going to find of almond and sugar cane. So nice sweetness, nice texture. Let's get brewing. I've got a Hario V60 02. You can fit this with an 01 as well. I've got a borosilicate stir stick, or you can use a chopstick. You can use the back end of a spoon. Something small that will allow you to get rid of any air pockets without agitating the brew bed too much. And yeah, recipe. I'm going to be brewing with 15 grams of our coffee ground medium fine. This was 10 on our Baratza Encore, which is going to be around 19 to 20 on the Comandante C40. And this is looking at around a 2 on the fellow Ode grinder with those new burrs. So you can get much finer with those. So we'll see some of these grind settings come back for us. So 15 grams of coffee. We'll be using 250 mils of water, and I'm brewing at 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's get going. First off, let's wet that paper filter. All right, so this coffee is a little bit more traditional. It's also really dense and wants to take a very long time to drain. I found that with coarser grind settings, I was still getting really long drain times, and the coffee was tasting weak. So I actually had to grind finer than I thought for this coffee to get a more reasonable drain time and to get this citric acidity to show itself. So I'm going to do kind of a double bloom. I'm going to have 2 light pours here at the beginning, and then we're going to get up to that 250 and let this drip and drain out. So first off, I'm going to pour 50 grams of water. This is our first bloom. What we're doing right here is we're getting a portion of water onto our coffee, but the thing is, it's going to stick here at the top. So you see any air bubbles, poke that stir stick, give yourself a nice twirl around. If you see an area with lots of air bubbles coming through, give that a poke. And then here at 30 seconds, I'm going to rinse that little stir stick, and I'm going to spiral now to 100 grams. I'm going to do the same thing again. Make sure I don't have any chunks, make sure I don't have any air pockets. Really easy stir. All right, now it's going to be more straightforward. Here, when I get to the 1 minute mark, I'm going to pour heavy in the middle. Like our traditional easy V60 recipe, punch this all the way up to 200 now. And then we're going to wait here until 1 minute and 40 seconds. And at 1 minute 40, I'm going to do 1 spiral pour to get myself up to 250 and finish off this recipe. Like I said, this coffee wants to drain really, really long. And it actually still tasted really nice, but it was more forward in this nutty, cocoa, slightly earthy characteristics than I wanted. I wanted to bring out more of this citrus fruit that we experienced on the cupping table. Flatbed drippers like my, 145. So I was 5 seconds late on this pour. I'm still going to be fine. There we go. Talking too much. Flat bottom drippers, it was still really good, but it tended to hide some of that citrus fruit characteristic. So I switched over to the V60 to hopefully bring a little bit more clarity to it and get a little bit more emphasis on the acidity. But out of flatbed drippers, out of immersion drippers, you're going to get a very traditional cup of coffee, more forward in this chocolate, almond, earthy notes. But out of my Hario V60, we are going to emphasize that. By emphasize the acidity, what we're actually doing is just balancing the cup. This is not a high acidity by any means. But when we get a balanced cup of coffee in here, we're going to taste this Cara Cara Orange, which is a slightly tart, slightly floral version of orange. So when I first tasted this, I thought orange blossom. And then I looked at Dakota's cupping notes and was like, oh, Cara Cara Orange. That checks out. Slightly floral orange. So, Cara Cara Orange, we're going to get some almond extract. So, very strong almond notes in here, and sugar cane, which is, unrefined sugar. We're going to get this sweetness, but also this a little bit of earthiness in there. Almost a green characteristic, but not underdeveloped. It's a sweetness. But this is a really nice coffee. In the V60, I really want this to drain under 4 minutes if I'm going to experience this acidity. It gets masked a lot if it extends past the 4-minute mark, which is what this coffee wants to do. If you're experiencing that, I would suggest pouring heavier in these middle and later pours to get a faster drain time, because going coarser does not actually improve our drain time by very much, but what it does do is reduce our overall flavor. I was getting weak, boring cups when I was grinding coarse that were draining over 4 minutes. So you will choke your filters if you go too coarse with this coffee. In the meantime, serve and enjoy.